Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to the November edition of the New and Early Career Faculty Workshop Series for Fall 2024. Thank you all for joining us. We have a really star-studded event here today with extracurriculars in cybersecurity with some special guests. Just really quickly before we get started, we do have another workshop in this series for December. So all that information will be coming out shortly, and that'll be next month. If you're interested in working with the new and early career faculty group, please get in touch with either myself or Gretchen, and we can get you all set up to work with us if you're interested in maybe doing one of these next semester or even next year. But I'm going to turn it over to our presenters and also stop my screen share. So all you guys, thank you for being here.
Awesome. We're so excited to be part of this, and we're going to be talking about extracurriculars today. Um, I'm still expecting a couple people, so we'll maybe have to do a little bit of rearranging of our slides that I just rearranged, but so
Work.
I know, right? Let me go ahead and share my PowerPoint here. All right. Zoom is not cooperating with me. All right, that looks a little bit better. And going to move my toolbar so I can see. So my name is Terri Johnson Akse. I am an assistant teaching professor at the University of Colorado in Colorado Springs in Litany.
Okay, hello, I am Litany Lineberry, and I am an adjunct professor or instructor at Hinds Community College, and I'm also a Mississippi State University PhD student. So this is just an overview of what we'll be discussing on today, and hopefully you will get something out of it that you can take back to your institution, not only for yourself, but for your students.
So what we really wanted to focus on with this presentation is to really think about experiences outside the classroom. Employers tell us that they want kind of this magic triad when we are getting our students hired. And this includes some sort of degree, 2-year, 4-year, beyond, and also an industry cert of some sort, which we will cover a little bit later in this presentation. And they want hands-on experience. So hands-on experience encompasses everything from competitions to self-paced learning to anything that they can get outside the classroom. And so we've got a lot of content here for you today. But really we want you to, at the end, we'll kind of say, focus on these 5 if this is a little bit overwhelming to you. All right. So I am actually going to zoom by this. We don't have Jake yet, right?
He is coming in. He's in other weird Zoom session going on. I don't know why. I have 2 Zooms that are the same link, but they're 2 different instances. So I don't know what's going on with Zoom today, but he's coming.
Okay.
But you guys make the call.
Awesome. Well, I will let Dan lead us off then, talking about competitions.
Sure. Thank you for having me. There are several competitions I'd like to touch base on. NCL is only one of them. But let me go ahead and bring up my page on NCL. Actually, this is going to be a page on one of our clubs that does competitions. But I also have NCL here, and I'm going to get you over to that. Just a minute here. Okay. So National Cyber League's been around for about a dozen years. I'm a co-founder of it. Until recently I was very active in it. Now I've stepped away from it, but it's a great entry-level competition. It's virtual, 100% virtual. So your students have the opportunity to participate without any additional cost or travel. $35 gives you everything you want for a season. And let me, here we go. That's what we just finished the fall season. If you pay, ooh, it's going, still 35. They did not raise. $35 gives you access to a 24/7 gymnasium with practices that you can prepare for the competition with, a practice game, an individual game, and a team game. And any student that plays the individual game gets to have a uh, scouting report. So there's lots of opportunities to play, but you're doing more than playing, you're entering a community. There's a lot of online opportunity to hear from other students, to get mentored. Um, and so I really think it's a great place to start. If you play in the gym, you're going to learn how to solve challenges. So you will be able to solve some challenges. The only way you get good in a competition, though, is keep playing it. Um, so that's National Cyber League. But what I get more excited about these days is what our club does. So I'm going to share with you something about our clubs here. I can uh, do a better job of sharing here. Mm. No, my sharing is not behaving right now. Our Swift Club has their own competition that they've created and they nurture from year to year called RVB. And we have other schools play. We actually had a RVB competition last weekend, and it is also virtual as well as face-to-face. But any school can participate in RVB. Our MISA club, there we go. I've got it. Okay, so this is our MISA ITC competition. They've run it for 29 years. They have 5 categories: IT security, digital forensics, IC strategy, web application, data analysis. It is a case study competition where judges, industry judges, write the cases and judge the cases, and we give you cash prizes for the top teams. The Swift Club runs its own competition. And as I mentioned, RVB is one that they play several times a year, and you can participate virtually in it. I would love for any of you that are on the call or any of your faculty that are interested in competitions to contact me. I can help you find ways to participate in competitions, and I can give you kind of a background on the ramp that you go up when you play. I also am involved with the Evidencing Competency project that's led by Zoe and Vinny, and have created what do we call them, Paige, when we submit? It's called a competency
Statement.
statement. We have competency statements for competitions. I can help you understand those. So I can help you in a few ways. I'm going to hand it over to my esteemed colleague, Jake Mahevic, who's going to talk about what I think is the coolest thing that the CAE community does today with competitions, called NCAE. But please, if you have any interest in competitions, I'm easy to find. I'll put my contact information in the chat. With that, Jake, take over.
Thanks, Dan. I'm not sure if I am Batman or Robin today, but always great to present with Dan and work with him on competitions. Before I talk about NCAE, I just wanted to talk about why first. I'll note that I've been doing competitions since 2013, and I stay connected with them because I've seen the impact on students. Many of you that teach know that sometimes students don't connect even with lab work in a way that they don't understand why. And when students come to a competition and they need to bring a network interface online in Linux so their team can score points, they really connect with that content in the classroom because they understand why and why they need to understand how to do it quickly. So we've been doing competitions ever since then. Zoe joined us for the CNY Hackathon this month. We do something very unique here in our local event where we mix up teams. So students from 6 different colleges work with each other on a 10-person team. And what they do is cross-teach each other. None of us teach perfectly or teach everything. And at the CNY Hackathon, we create an environment where students teach each other. And it's really magic. And so these extracurricular activities really help that to happen. As a community college assistant vice president these days, I really connect with competitions because they're a parallel pathway into the workforce. And there was a time when you needed to be a 4.0 student and you needed to know calculus and you needed to go to a prestigious university in order to get access to a 6-figure job. And through competitions, and what Dan was talking about is start with NCAE, start with NCL, work up to CPTC and CCDC. And through that pathway, a student who is a C student at a community college and does some competitions, and is a C student at a state university and does some competitions, can have access to a very well-paying job without following the traditional path. And I think that's opened a number of doors to what are non-traditional learners making it into the workforce and being very successful. The competition I'm here to speak about is the NCAE Cyber Games, and we built that with that in mind. And we know that not everyone connects to competitions in the same way that some do. And we also know that competitions are super intimidating. So we built this event with that in mind, and it's a competition that's just for beginners. We are aware that it's intimidating, and we've taken a number of steps to make it less intimidating. For the first thing is that my whole staff, on any given Saturday, we have 30 people executing the NCAE Cyber Games. They're almost all former competitors. So they know how it feels to be a part of the event, and they've helped us design the event to make it less intimidating. All of the communication is in Discord. We're running this event in the student safe place. Every team has a Black team member who's kind of a super systems administrator and is there to just constantly be with the team, helping them understand, is this really broken or should it be broken? Why won't this system come online? Where is this system in the virtual environment? Just the basic questions that can be disorienting to a student. We have someone there nonstop to help them just orient and understand the environment. And that goes a long way to helping students. Our red team, again, are former participants. And I'll just share the experience with you that the first 5 years that I ran our local hackathon, I had to rely on industry experts to be the red team, and they took great pleasure in just crushing our students. They would just destroy their systems, make it so that there was no way to undo what they had done, and I had a number of students calling their parents to pick them up at lunchtime. We have broken that barrier. Former competitors are now our red team. And we've implemented a system where our team will give them a half hour to get their system stable. And then we'll hit them with the easiest to find vulnerability. So their systems will go down, and we don't hit them again until they show us that they can solve that easiest vulnerability. Then we let them score points for a little while and get some confidence, and then we'll hit them with the next hardest to find vulnerability. And so in that way, we try to never overwhelm the students and never make it so they can't understand which is which or why they're not scoring points. And our red team, our guiding principle is that there is nothing that our red team does that the students can't undo. There is always a path to mitigation for students, and just that knowledge that they can always win, and that even though they're the red team, they want them to win, can really go a long way to letting students build some confidence in the event. So we do all of the regionals online. They're done from your school in your team room. Everyone competes remotely. We have a training environment called the Sandbox that contains, in particular, 13 hours of tutorial videos that are broken up into at least 240 index points at this time. So if there's a specific skill that either you as a faculty member are not that comfortable teaching or supporting your students with, or that a student needs to just bring a system online or configure networking or anything like that, there is an index point with a 4-minute tutorial that you can watch with your students, or the students can do their own to build the skills necessary to succeed in the contest. So we run these regional events. Registration is going to be open on December 1st. Again, you compete as a team from your home team room. It's a great team building exercise, great skill building exercise. And those that do the best in those invitational events in the regional events, move to the finals. When we do our wrap-up ceremonies for each 10-team regional event, in addition to awarding the winners, we also have each team vote for their own most valuable teammate and most improved student. And that makes an environment where even the team that ends up in last place on the scoreboard, they have 2 students to celebrate. And everyone leaves that event feeling like they've accomplished something, and at least 2 students leave with more confidence from what they've experienced. The event, as I've said, it's kind of the unicorn. We have a distributed leadership model on our team that allows, I think, miraculously the best ideas to float to the top. And what that's led to is, going into our 4th season, 90% of the students that enter our event, it's their first competition. 80% of those that compete choose to move on to a more advanced competition. And we have a 97% student satisfaction rate with their experience with us. Last year, we had 102 different colleges join us that led to 1,000 different students. So it is a project with a momentum of its own. We never could be where we are without the support of the CAE community. And I think it's really a testament to what the CAE community can do for cyber education, that they were able to see a small regional competition that had some potential, and not just the program office, but all of you and all of the colleges engaged with us each year more and more, and provided feedback, and led to the NCAE Cyber Games being what it is today, which is a wide pathway and funnel into the world of cyber competitions for all of the 450 now CAE institutions across the country. Thank you.
Awesome. I just want to foot stomp both of what Dan and Jake just talked about. When it came to NCL, when I was teaching at Pikes Peak State College, I had a brand new student in Cisco 1, which was the first course he was taking, and he was like super brand new. He ran through NCL. He has like now a little YouTube video channel called To Cyber Noob, TEH, Cyber NOOB. And from that first NCL game, he got a scouting report. He had been a bartender, and so he wanted to get some sort of hands-on experience. He brought the scouting report to an interview for an entry-level help desk job. And at first, the interviewer was like, well, you really have no experience. He said, well, look at this scouting report I did for this National Cyber League competition. And the interviewer was super impressed, hired him on. And since then, He was part of the Cisco Live Dream Team. He got a job with CDW. He's been promoted twice. He makes more money and loves his job more than anybody I've ever seen. When it comes to the NCAE games, well, the first year it came out, I had a student named Anna who was part of that competition. And it was pretty overwhelming for our little team at first. They got into the groove. Then Anna was awarded the most valuable player award, and she was so thrilled. Like she had never been awarded anything like that in her life. And so she went on to graduate from Pikes Peak. She still is very involved with our clubs as an alum at Pikes Peak and UCCS. She has an amazing job at Jacobs, which is an international defense contractor. Actually, they're now called Amentum. And like it all began with these competitions. So I'm just so grateful that you both came online to talk about it. And if anybody has any questions for you, is it okay if we open that up? Awesome.
Absolutely.
Sure.
All right. Any questions for Dan or Jake? Yes, feel free to drop them in the chat as well.
While we're waiting, I'll take this opportunity to thank you for your leadership, Terry. I'm thinking back right now, I believe that you and I were in Huntsville in 2016, and I got to be at the adult beverage station when you became a CAE for the first time. And I
Yes.
remember your enthusiasm, and it's great to see everything that you've contributed over these years.
Yeah, with Gretchen, like Gretchen and I. Woof. Thank you. Awesome. Well, I guess you guys explained everything amazingly well and got some great links in the chat. So great. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for the
You're
invite.
welcome.
Yes. Great. All right. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. And I notice I have the link wrong there, Dan. Sorry about that. And Litany, you wanted to talk a little bit about some more competitions.
Yes, so there are more competitions that were that's also beneficial. And for a list of current or ongoing competitions that are going right now, there's a site called ctftime.org, and that where you can see any CTF going on worldwide. And another thing that is very interesting about a lot of the competitions are, or CTF specifically, if you go to the ctftimes.org, you see something called write-ups. And for the write-ups, those are what happened, like solutions or how people got to the answer or found the flag. Sometimes not for all, it just depends on if that particular competition allows it or not. But it's a good way to go through that and to learn. And then also there's something called Pico, a CTF. It's mainly for high schoolers, but they have a gymnasium that's open to everyone. And you can use that within your clubs, which we'll talk about a little later, or even incorporate into your classroom. That can help students like hone their skills and learn. And then there's different other competitions that are local, that you may look in your state or even see your school offers. Like I know for my school, we do, well, sorry, at Mississippi State, we do hackathons, right? So maybe see your school offers that. But these are just a list of more competitions for you to look into. And if you have any questions about that, let us know. But this will be on the PowerPoint provided.
Yes. And so when it comes to regional competitions, one that we have is noted here as MWCC, and it has Deloitte in parentheses. So we at UCCS partner with Deloitte to put on a Mountain West Cyber Consortium competition every December. Gretchen has been amazing putting that together. And so I think we have like 150 students signed up for this December's competition. So definitely.
Actually, Terry, we topped 200 this weekend. We're so excited.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
amazing.
Wow, that's so great. Yeah, it's and really just kind of foot stomping that whole competitions are the way. And it's not all super techy. Like notice there's one with Temple University social engineering. So you can really get everybody involved in all of these different types. Even in the collegiate cyber defense competition, you need to have kind of like a business-minded person as part of that team. To help kind of make a proposal to the CEO as to what tools or what defenses that you might need to build up. Awesome. All right, we're going to talk about some experiences. And this is really just looking at other hands-on learning opportunities as well. And this is really taken from my background working with Gretchen at UCCS. So we were able to kind of partner with our CU Boulder friends and in a Design for Defense class, part of our National Security Innovation Network. And this was a class that took students from all majors and at all levels. It included undergrads, it included graduate students. And we had a problem to solve for a real DoD client. So the group I worked with was looking at how can we create a mesh network for special operators. So they're on the ground in unfamiliar terrain. There might be like a river that they need to cross in order to get access into somebody else's, the adversary's network across the way. So how can we use like kind of drone technology and build a network that then kind of self-destructs on its own? It was a fascinating process that they did actually get picked up by West Point in order to manufacture and produce this. We are looking at Hack for Defense and Azimuth at UCCS. We're working with Purdue, Purdue's data mine, participating in data mine of the Rockies. And in this one, it's a very similar. We have a case that we're looking at. I'm working with a group of students who are looking in particular at ground station optical telescope supply chain vulnerabilities. And so they've been doing a ton of research this last semester about that, like what vendors are there, what space has a very limited supply chain. And so they've been working incredibly hard. I have 2 students from Boulder, 1 from UCCS, hoping to get a couple more involved in the next semester, and where they will be actually they're looking at building a web scraping tool to help them find these vulnerabilities and send alerts. We have some ethics. We have an ethics case kind of competition at UCCS as well, in which our students are given a scenario such as like, you belong to an international hotel chain that just acquired another hotel chain that's worldwide. Here are some issues with it. How would you solve them? And they get judged on their answers. They have to pretend they're consultants and offer up a solution. And so doing different case studies like that has been incredibly helpful for our students as well.
Hey, Terry.
Yeah.
I'd like to give a plug for a new community of practice
Oh, yeah.
for student clubs. So what we're looking for is student clubs in CAE schools to submit short videos on them. And I was willing to get one of our clubs to take the lead on that. So I want to bring up the page here just so you can see. But any club that is interested in showing what they do, and I think that's most of the clubs in the CAE community, this is a way that you can promote yourself. We only have one video up there now, and it was the one I kind of put together, so it's very rough. But I really am looking forward to student clubs showing what they're doing in competitions and other activities. And this is a way that you can get some attention for what your club is doing.
That is fabulous. And since we have the president of our club and we have a student of Litany's going to talk about clubs, you guys take note.
I'm posting the link here, but there's one video up there now. But I'm really looking forward to a lot more. I really believe that the potential for collaboration in student clubs is as much as the potential for collaboration with faculty.
100%. Another thing that UCCS does, kind of following on that, and Pikes Peak State College, is they started this semester holding meetings together. So we have a Mountain Lions Cyber Club, we have a Women in Cyber Club, then Pikes Peak has their club. And so they have been working together, working on, kind of that friendly competition level and that collaboration aspect. So incredible. So thank you, Dan. Awesome. All right. This brings us to our students. Litany, do you want to go?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm back. Sorry, I was muted. When looking at cyber clubs, right, why are they important? This is where students connect their academic knowledge they learn in the classroom to real-world application. And then as faculty, this is where we have a unique role in fostering this environment. But not only that, we can help even sharpen our own skills and stay up to date. So, a few key points is for faculty, new and early career faculty. Why is it important to either be an advisor or a co-sponsor or advisor of a club? This helps with guiding students and organizing activities, structure and connecting them with opportunities. And also, there's a cyber club survival guide by Crypto Kate that is really great resource to help you and your students actually establish a club if you don't already have one at your institution, but also good, like I said, for practical learning opportunities. And it also, again, helps you keep up your skills. But most importantly, as was stated earlier, it helps with interdisciplinary collaborations, right? Because you might have someone who's maybe a business major or an art major, but has always been interested in computer science or cybersecurity. And so they come and join your club. And then they also bring an interesting perspective to help solve a problem. Like their approach may be different from someone who's a cybersecurity major, but it may be more effective or it may help get you in the right direction. So that is important. And then look at your institution, like you already have, right? So for University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, Pikes Peak State College, Mississippi State, where I'm at, and then Hinds Community College as well, have established cybersecurity related clubs, but also look to see, well, what is your institution's process for creating a club or a student organization and how to go about that. So those are really great benefits, but the main benefit that I think for faculty that are new and early is your involvement in club activities will showcase to your institution your dedication to student success. And also it will help with that. So, and also just we'll talk about it a little later, but networking. It also helps you with networking because that way you can reach out to maybe the FBI or other places. Like, again, we're going to talk about this later to get guest speakers. And so that also will help you maybe in your classroom where you need somebody to come speak on a topic. Well, they just spoke to your club, so maybe they can now come speak to your institution. And then WESIS, Women in Cybersecurity. It's an organization. It's a place for women in cybersecurity and allies of women in cybersecurity to foster inclusive environments where all students can thrive. Just because it's women in cybersecurity does not mean that our male allies cannot join. We encourage that. It's actually encouraged. And really great student chapter. It's a national organization, but they have student chapters now. You can see if you already have one on campus. I know for Mississippi State, we have one. I started it years ago when they first came out with them, with student chapters. It's a really great opportunity, again, for students from all backgrounds to come and join. But not only that, they have what they call a professional affiliates. And this is where faculty can join an affiliate or a regional affiliate or like a specialty affiliate through them to get more professional development, to connect and collaborate with others, and just to gain knowledge. So this is really great for not just students, but also faculty as well.
Yeah, and I just want to add on a little bit here as faculty and working with clubs for quite a few years now, in that it can be a little bit intimidating to look at the competitions that they are doing as students, and you might think, well, I'll just say from my experience, I've thought, oh my gosh, they are running circles around me and knowing so much more in this particular instance. And I just want to encourage everybody to just dive in right where they are, because everybody has different levels of expertise. And so even if it seems intimidating, just open yourself up, learn more, and help these students along, because you definitely have talents that those students need to um, be a part of.
And then before you go to the next slide, I do want to add also what you said is make sure that maybe if you're really new and you're not sure you can handle being the main advisor, maybe see they need a co-advisor. You can see how it works. And so that you can maybe next year or year after next, let's say the advisor decides to step down, maybe you will feel confident or comfortable in saying, okay, well, I can step into this role. So you don't always have to be the main advisor. You can see about being a co-advisor as well.
Oh, that's a great point. Exactly. So now we're going to hear it from the mouths of students.
So first up is Erin McDaniel from Hinds Community College.
Hello, everyone. I'm Aaron McDaniel, a current student at Hinds Community College. I had started my computer science classes, specifically computer networking and cybersecurity, in the fall of 2023. And I was just recently elected the president of the Modern Computing and Cybersecurity Club on our Rankin campus. Uh, we tried to provide some extracurriculars for students. I mean, friends of mine, people in our classes, really anybody that wants to be involved and learn more about cyber and networking. One thing that's being offered, I'm very excited about, is this Cisco Cyber Ops course is being offered to anybody that joins their club. Really nice incentive to get out there and learn more through Cisco's official course. We're also going to do a capture the flag event through the fifth annual Mountain Clubs challenge there. We've got a bunch of activities like that, but I just think it's a good opportunity to meet people, like even outside of just computer networking, working or cyber. I just went bowling with my vice president, which was just nice to hang out before finals. Takes your mind off of focusing on studying. But even outside of that, I was able to give another friend of mine experience on when I got my CompTIA Security Plus certification. And I told him what that's like taking it. And he was able to pass it. And it led to him getting a job here in Mississippi. A local bank hired him because he got that experience, because he was a part of our club. You know, it might not seem like a big thing at the time, just setting up a Cisco router and switch and figuring out all these protocols. It didn't seem big, but if you really think about it, that's what you do on these jobs. I mean, I recently got my internship that has just been doubled at a local government agency here in the state of Mississippi. And everything I've learned is really culminating. It felt great being able to walk somebody through on the phone something simple without seeing what they're seeing. Just a login page that was through a ZOS IBM login, which if you've ever worked with it, can be very confusing for a newcomer. So she was just trying to log in and she's like, I can't see my password as I'm typing it in. So I was able to, through my experiences tutoring people who aren't as familiar working with computer systems, I was able to relay, I know how to teach you this over the phone in my job. And within just about 3 minutes, she figured out how to work it because I told her what to do. You hit tab, you type your characters in. They're not visually there, but they are there, trust me. But yeah, I'm very thankful for the experiences that I've had in our club, and I'm really hoping to grow it more over the spring semester and have as many people as we can get in. We're trying to get not just our networking and cyber students, but we're trying to get programming and computer science students because they don't get a lot of that more hands-on experience going through more of the academic side of schooling. So I'm just excited. I'm glad that I got this opportunity to do this. So yeah, it's very nice to meet everybody. I've been saving a lot of these links because they sound like great opportunities to take into our club. I'm really interested in a lot of the stuff, especially what Dan and Jake was talking about. I'm like, this is some good opportunities here. Nice to meet all of you, by the way.
Thank you so much, Aaron, for that. Next up is Nicholas Olson from University of Colorado, Colorado Springs. Are you on?
Sure am. You guys can hear me, yeah?
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. Well, first of all, thanks for letting me come and speak at this today. This is amazing. Little bit of background about me. I've been doing cyber since I was about 13 years old. I've pretty much gone through the whole process of getting certified. I have an alphabet soup of certifications, and if you ask me a competition that I've competed in, I've probably done it. Um, I've done a lot since high school, and I really appreciated Terri reaching out to me with something like this because this is a huge thing. And I really, really cannot put a strong enough exclamation point on everything that's already been said, right? So I really enjoyed what Jake was saying when it comes to all of the competitions and how students really translate this. I know students who are straight C students who can directly correlate the stuff that they do in competitions into their real life jobs. I teach middle school kids these same concepts, right? And every single time they find more attention, they find more grasp of the material when you put it in a competition format, in my opinion. And so I've done a lot of this. I teach the kids that are a part of my club. I tell them like, hey, go and do this competition. Let's emphasize, let's work on this together, right? One of the biggest ones that we had in recent years was CCDC, and it was the first time that UCCS qualified for regionals in a very, very, very long time. That was a fantastic competition. It was amazing, great collaboration, really just an amazing thing all around. And that experience translated directly over to my real job at the time. And on top of that, I started applying for positions. And the reason I got a almost $95,000 offer as a sophomore for a pen testing position was because I was doing competitions. That was it. That was what we talked about in my interview. They talked about all of the experiences and a lot of the stuff that I did in those competitions directly translated over to my actual job function. So it really is a skill that's extremely relevant and very, very important to teach your students. So, like I said, I really appreciate you guys just taking the time to bring me down here and speak to you guys. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out because I'm always around and I'm more than happy to get cyber education set up across the nation. I got you guys.
Yeah, I would love for if anybody in the audience has questions for Aaron or Nicholas, um, let's hear them. And I'm hoping that you guys can hook up too and kind of connect our cyber clubs and work with Dan's collaboration page and
I
that will
We got you,
agree.
Terri. I got you.
Dude, you did a good job, Nicholas. I'm happy to hear you're doing stuff out there too.
Yeah, man, we have to, right? And I think our students deserve that too. and it's fun stuff. It's really, really great. So part of what Terry talked about too is that collaboration piece, right? Between WeSys and between Pikes Peak and between our club. And that was something to not only help our students kind of say, okay, I get to pick and choose which clubs I want to go to, or I get to choose which meetings I want to go to, but they also get exposed to every different type of meeting, right? So I'm excited to collaborate, and it works great. Great to meet you, Aaron.
Nice to meet you too, Nick.
There's something I want to talk about the community, um, because what I find with our students that have been involved in the clubs is they consider themselves a club alumni as much as a university or college alumni. And my hope is that the more that the clubs can collaborate and get to know each other, they'll feel that they're part of a greater cyber club community out there.
Absolutely. I know too, I seem to have a lot of these kind of stories, but we at Pikes Peak, Gretchen and I started the Cyber Club when we were going through our CAE application process. And every single person who's been a leader of that club over the last quite a few years now has gone on to really just like bigger and better things. We had our second president, her name is Wendy, and she came in, she was like a second career type of student. And she came into my office for advising one day on the academic side. And I said, you really should join our cyber club. And she's like, well, I'm a little bit older and I just don't know if I'd fit in with the other students in the club. And I said, oh, just try it one time. So she came, she actually brought her daughter with her, who is a teenager in high school, and had such a great time that she ended up taking over leadership of the club. And so she was the president then the next year after that. When she graduated with her associate's degree, she got an amazing job offer at Lockheed Martin and has been rising in the ranks there ever since. So such an amazing, amazing contribution that these clubs make. And I'm just like so grateful for you two coming on and talking about it. All right. I don't think we got any questions for you.
Great. If you do, Terry has my contact, so reach out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Litany's got my contact as well if anybody wants to contact me either. Nice to meet y'all.
Exactly. Thank you
So
all
great.
both. So, for club opportunities, I want to piggyback on something that Aaron and Nicholas both talked about. It was like a real world experience. So, being able to apply what they learned in their clubs and things like that to their actual jobs or even during K-12 outreach, which is a great opportunity for clubs. So, not only, especially the K-12 portion, because when you do outreach, right, that means that you're getting the next generation interested, right, in cybersecurity, or at least thinking about either going into the field or at least thinking about why cybersecurity is important to them, where they want to go into business or however, how that is important to their major or their career goals. So just starting early. So club activities beyond regular meetings provide a unique experience that provides students for careers while building essential soft skills as well. Because we don't really talk about the soft skills part, but during certain outreach and activities within your clubs also help them with their soft skills. So maybe they're not good at public speaking, but because they're involved in your club and collaborating and being team lead on either competitions or other things like your activities that you're doing, that can actually help them and be applied to their future careers or just in general. But there are different club opportunities. We talked about competitions earlier. And then you also have getting guest speakers. So for me, I always try to contact different organizations that maybe people may not think about, right? When it comes to cybersecurity. And so that's your Attorney General's office on the state level, your state Attorney General's office. I know here in Mississippi, they have a a cyber section. And so someone came from the Attorney General's office to speak. That may be something you never thought about, but that's also a good thing to see, well, what are they doing on the state level? And then maybe how do they do internships? And then you also have like the FBI, National Guard, and look at local industry. Like they said, they had been hired at banks, or they had clubmen being hired at banks, the local banks and things of that nature. So see if somebody can come in and speak from that aspect as well. And then have speed networking and mentoring events. I also talked about the K-12 outreach. And then then there's other events either in your university level, like Townsend Junior Cyber events. And then you also have different organizations such as SWE, Society of Women Engineers, Society of Hispanic Engineers, Society of Black Engineers, and other engineering organizations that you can collaborate with possibly. And again, that's another opportunity of interdisciplinary work within your universities and within those clubs. And even I would go as far as say like you have a pre-law or major or something, or a pre-law club on campus. That's the way to maybe collaborate with them, and you all can discuss things like governance and policies and things of that nature, and get their perspective on that versus what you learned in maybe your class or something as well. But again, they don't need to be the goal is they don't need to be computer science or cybersecurity majors. It can be interdisciplinary because at the end of the day, cybersecurity is everyone's job.
I love that. And I just want to, yeah, say, like, Litany, what was your undergrad degree in?
Uh, Computer science.
Okay, it was. Mine was psychology. So it comes from a totally different background. And like Gretchen, I know I keep talking about you here, but hers, she's a Russian linguist. And so really coming all together and having those different backgrounds, very important to be able to see the whole picture. Love it.
Career fairs. So, career fairs is very important, not only for students, but also for faculty. I'm going to talk about the student piece, and then I'm going to tie it into the faculty. So, for students, it's a great way to get internships or fellowships that can give you, again, real world experience and working on projects that are happening in the real world, looking at industry trends and things of that nature. And also, depending on the type of internship you get, it may lead into a full-time position. So those are really great. And career fairs, National Cyber Summit offers a career fair. WESIS has a face-to-face, or when I say WESIS, Women's Cybersecurity, has a face-to-face and a virtual career fair. And then they also have a job board for members. And then also look at your local universities, right? They usually offer a career fair either in the spring or fall, or maybe even both semesters. And so just contact your office, the career fair office, or for your institution, and see when are the dates, and give like an incentive. I know for maybe your clubs, maybe say, I want to challenge you to go to the career fair on this date. And so for our next meeting, we're going to have a resume workshop. We're going to invite somebody from the career office to come and review resumes and help you prepare for it, right? And then on the faculty side, it's a great way for you to see what are the new trends in industry, like what are the focal points that they're focusing on right now. Is it AI, cybersecurity and AI? not? Is it looking at different vulnerabilities? And so you can teach them either in your class or focus on them whenever you're in your clubs and organizations and getting their skill set to focus on certain things that the industry are looking for hiring for.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely do that. And I always offer a little bit of extra credit too. If somebody goes to and participates in some of these, I'll be like, yeah, you can give me a short little write-up. I'll give you some extra credit. All right, find my mouse here. So let's take a look at some community organizations, and you're going to see kind of a list of alphabet soup here. But these are really great to kind of get established within your local community, and it can help you kind of find a mentor for you on the technical side or the security side if you want as well. So ISSA is an international organization for security professionals. And in Colorado Springs, we have a lot of networking and mentoring events. For instance, we have a Cyber First Friday, and where everybody gathers at our building. We have a UCCS has a building that is linked with the National Cyber Center, Space ISAC. So we host this Cyber First Friday where speakers come in. It's a time for networking. We have a couple of drink tickets and some discounts off a food truck, and really just really helping that community be part of it. Gretchen, did you want to say something about that? I thought I saw you pop on. Oh, okay.
I did not, Terri. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. All right.
Hey, Terry.
Yes.
I just want to give a shout out for ISACA because we have had a long-term relationship with ISACA. Our MISA Club is a student chapter of ISACA. ISACA held their September career night meeting at Cal Poly. They sponsor Cal Poly, our competition events that we do, our cyber awareness fair. They're just a great partner to have for us.
Awesome. Yes, exactly. So your region might have a different organization that is kind of stronger and more student focused. So that's great that ISACA is doing that for Cal Poly. We have some contact with ISC too. I think Litany, you have a professional association with IEEE, and then ACM.
Yes.
Exactly. And Oasis, and then we've got cyber women's cyber jitsu as well, kind of listed here. So and again, it varies by region. AFCEA is our Air Force connection here. We're in Colorado Springs. We are very heavily military with 5 military installations and a lot of DoD support. So working with your region and finding out what is available to you is incredibly helpful. There's a lot of times student discounts, which for sure I know with like WESIS, ISC2, and ISSA, that students can join and participate in events for basically free. All right, some conferences to talk about.
Okay, so there are a variety of conferences. These are not all, but it's a good comprehensive list to start with. So let's look at NICE and NICE K through 12. It's focused on building pathways from education to workforce, and they highlight emerging trends in cybersecurity education. Then you have the National Cyber Summit, which offers networking workshops and exposure to industry innovations for student and faculty. Then you have conferences like DEF CON and Black Hat, and they're known for their cutting edge presentations and also their hands-on experiences in ethical hacking and security. And then we have WESIS, which we talked a little bit about earlier. This is for their conference is for students, faculty, industry. Right now, the student scholarships have closed. However, I did want to highlight that poster presentations are open until January. So you have if you're a student or have a student and they want to do a student poster, then they can submit. And they also offer virtual and face-to-face for the conferences now. So that's something to look into. Then you have Grace Hopper as well as which is a conference celebrating women in technology and cybersecurity. And then you have like your regional and local conferences, like B-Sides, which is like a grassroots community-driven conference, which is really great. And then you have things like I know at Mississippi State, we have for faculty, Mississippi Cybersecurity Faculty Retreat Conference, and then we have a Mississippi Cyber Initiative Summit. And then for Cyber Maryland, that's for their local region, and that's for the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. And then you have RSA and Hacker Halted, which offer opportunities to see cybersecurity how that intersects with business, healthcare, and other industries. So that's a really great conferences, and as you can see, it's interdisciplinary. So those are just to name a few. If anybody know of any others that may be of interest, please feel free to drop them in the chat.
Exactly. And thinking too of the vendors that you are working with, I know Aaron mentioned Cisco, for example. And so Cisco has a huge conference, Cisco Live, which has a million different tracks and is a really good conference to go to as well. And really looking towards your industry organizations that we talked about in the previous slide, like that can help you kind of find some very local regional conferences. We have host Space Symposium here in Colorado Springs, and then AFCEA hosts a cyberspace symposium here as well. So connecting with that local industry, super important. So you're all here because you are a part of our CAE community. And so I wanted to give Zoe a little bit of time to chat about some of her roles.
Thank you. It's just so exciting to hear everything which everyone's bringing to today's session and this wealth of opportunities which are out there. And in many ways, everything that we're talking about in today's session is really about building our students' competencies. When Jake talks about connecting content from the classroom to thinking about how that might be applied, or when Litany is talking about real-world application, when we're talking about networking, that's very much the language of competency as we're using it within the CAE community. And I know that I keep turning up at these and giving the definition, but within the CAE, competency is the ability for the student to do a task within the context of a work role. And when we think about context of a work role, we're thinking about those real world contexts, which can be captured so well in a competition through going to a career fair, through having the opportunity to be part of a club, to engage with professional organizations. And competency, as we envisage it in the CAE community, is all about building those kind of bridges. The definition of competency which we're using in CAE community has 5 essential elements, A, B, C, D, E. When we were thinking about this and preparing for this, we thought it struck me that really what we're looking at is very much A and B here. We're thinking about the actor. A is the actor. It's who is doing competency. When we're thinking about any kind of teaching opportunities we're giving to our students, we need to be thinking a little bit about who our students are, both who they are now, but also who they need to be able to effectively access the opportunities that we're giving to them. Dan Manson is a great expert on this. He's been doing some amazing research with students who have participated in competitions. And one of his findings is that in the lead up to a competition, how students develop their own agency in finding out the things that they need to know. So when we're thinking about competency and we're thinking about those essential elements and we're thinking about who the student is, we're thinking about the development of the identity of that student as they're building those connections to the things that they might do in these extracurricular opportunities which we're giving to them. And then when we think about B, that making a connection between what the student is doing and a task within a work role, that's very much what our B encapsulates. I get so excited thinking about these extracurricular opportunities and the whole range. I've been making notes as you've all been talking. The fact that a student might engage in an extracurricular opportunity to build their identity, to develop affinities with other students, to access experiences, to perhaps showcase some evidence. I've loved the case study stories you've been telling me about how students have been able to mobilize participation in a competition or taking part in a cyber club as currency, which has enabled them to get a really good job. And how great to have two students talking as well and giving their own perspectives on that. So these extracurricular opportunities can be about enhancing employability. And again, that's absolutely the bedrock of all the development around competency at the moment. An opportunity to discover the kind of career opportunities that might be out there, and exposure to work roles and tasks within that real world context. So I just wanted to say that one of the reasons we're talking so much about competency in the CAE community is not because this is a purely administrative exercise for redesignation where we need to produce 10 competency statements, but it's thinking about how we design and provide access for our students to do these kind of things and reflecting upon our intentionality within that, making sure that our students are in a position where they have the confidence and the ability to really be able to maximize the opportunities that we're giving to them. And also thinking about what we want that participation to achieve when we're building identities, when we're building employability, when we're giving students that opportunity to make that connection between the things we've been teaching to them and the things that they might go on and do in their career. And it's so exciting to be here and listening to this conversation. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Zoe. Any questions or comments for Zoe on the competencies, which is why we're here, right? We want our students to know how to do work.
Oh, and can I quickly say as well within that, a lot of people, as they're moving towards redesignation, are aware that they need to produce 10 competency statements for their designated program of study. Now, while at least 5 of those, 5 out of 10, have to be related to classroom activities, today's session is a great example of where we might draw those other 5 statements. When you're thinking about moving towards redesignation, you can make a competency statement from a competition your students have taken part in, from a cyber club which they're part of, from a career fair which they've gone to. You know, these are all really valid opportunities where we can develop that kind of competency statement. And Paige is the expert here on the way that we can use a template to describe these using the ABCDE.
That is awesome. I love it. And yeah, I saw we had in the chat about asking about URL links. And so Paige will send out the slides as well, which is amazing. Yeah, because there's so much good information here. And thank you, Zoe. All right, let's talk a little bit about one of those other, we talked in the very beginning about how our employers want our students to have a degree of some sort. They want some hands-on experience, which we've covered with some of our competitions and club activities. And then they talk about industry certs. And so this is in some cases it's considered an extracurricular. In at UCCS, we have to work kind of outside the curriculum to incorporate the industry certs. And so we have a list of kind of those heavy hitters, the ones that if we help our students attain these, it will help them get some good jobs. Security Plus by CompTIA is a basic cyber kind of hygiene and knowledge of networking and access control kind of opportunities that our students, we really focus on them getting that Security Plus because it is considered essential to have that particular industry certification to work on a DoD network, a Department of Defense network. It's also just a really good idea for anybody who has some cyber background to just say, yes, I've got this Security Plus cert that kind of emphasizes that. Cisco has some certifications, CCNA, CCNP. They have a security level. Cyber Ops, I think Aaron mentioned earlier, which is really kind of getting you ready for that entry-level SOC analyst position. EC Council has a lot of certs as well. Most notably, their certified ethical hacker and their certified chief information security officer certification. ISC2 has an entry-level cert called the CCST. And then they have the CISSP, which is kind of seen as that like combination of like have been in the industry for a few years. I know something about technology. I know something about management. I know kind of managing security leaders and putting that all together because it's a cert that you can't get unless you have both a sponsor and some significant industry experience. So it's not just answering, questions on a 6-hour test. ISACA has a couple of certs, and then we think about cloud as well, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, etc.
All right, so let's look at the smaller bites, right? So we talked about the major certifications, but maybe your students or you want more experience but don't have time to actually study or prepare for the more in the industry certification. So there are what we call smaller bites, like IBM digital badges, which are free and low-cost micro credentials in cybersecurity, AI, and cloud computing. And you also have Google Career certifications. And then you can also utilize Udemy and Coursera, and then LinkedIn Learning. And then one thing that I actually want to showcase is Verizon Skill Forward. I'm going to share my screen. Will it let me share while you're sharing?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll also stop.
All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so Verizon has a program called Verizon Skill Forward, and it's a collaboration between Verizon and edX to offer tuition-free technical and professional pathways to accelerate skill building for in-demand tech careers. And so let me exit out here. So I clicked on the link here, and I already had it open, but it goes into getting started, and you'll have to sign up for an edX. And I know when I did it, I used my institution email account. And they give you a list of classes and courses that you can take. And it's really great to implement in your institution, whether for your club, and or just try to integrate into your classes. And again, it's no cost and you have it for 12 months to use it and to gain whatever information you deem will help you in your current career as a faculty or also help your students as well. And so it's a really great program, and you can also earn certificates as well. So again, I believe the link may be in the PowerPoint. If not, I will put the link in the chat. But that is a wonderful, this is a wonderful program that they have.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And then, like I said, also you have things like Bright Talk webinars is a great source to get uh, information as it relates to cybersecurity and also to look at different topics. So let's say your club wants to focus on social engineering, right? You can go to Bright Talk webinars and search for any webinars related to social engineering that your students and you can watch during one of your meetings. So that is a wonderful place as well, Bright Talk. And then again, cyber interdisciplinary. And so you can look at stuff for healthcare, finance, education, and then look for a concentration in cyber and unusual places or and things like that. So again, this is important. Why? To promote these resources in a way to complement your classroom learning, but also to get students interested in other things outside of the classroom. And so this is a way that if maybe they can't right now, they don't feel prepared to go for the CompTIA cert or feel knowledgeable enough to do a certain certification. This would be like a gateway or like a mini step into that direction.
I love it. And I just was realizing too that in one of my classes right now, I am using the AWS Cloud Foundations, which is a free course from AWS, so that students can get just that little introduction to like, what is cloud? How does it work? How's it different from an on-premise type of solution? And then Litany, did you want to talk about these links as well?
Yes, so another great resource is myemates.org. I want to talk about that specifically. I learned about that whenever I was a fellow for the Insight faculty fellowship program a few years ago. And they use eMates, and it's a great way they have like different modules that are interactive for learning. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up because so myemates.org. However, when you pull it up, I don't want you to be alarmed. So that's why I actually want to show you so you don't think it's something. So if you look up here, so let me go back. So when I type in myemates.org and hit enter, right? It takes me here, but this is the website. It's not malicious or anything. It's just where they're hosting it at. So it just changes over to that. But they have sections on cybersecurity, cryptography, cybersecurity maturity models, certification, networking, even mathematics and electronics. And they have it split up into games and activities that you can do and integrate into your programs or even in your class. And then they have like the instructional ones as well. But what I want to click on really quickly is the cube challenge, just so you can see how it works. So open up in a new window, and then you hit next and have like the interactive part and it tells you about it. And then this is the challenge where based on everything, they give you like a question, code that replaces password characters with asterisks when users log in. would that be considered confidentiality, integrity, or availability? So let's say confidentiality, and you hit submit, and it says, okay, it was right. And so then it goes on to more questions. And then you can continue on, and you can either do all challenges at one time, or you can break it up for like maybe at the beginning of your club meeting, you do challenge 1, and then at another meeting you do challenge 5, or what have you. And just a great icebreaker. And you can also integrate this into your classrooms as well. So again, this is a great resource. And as I said, it also talks about cryptography and networking as well. So, but yes, so don't be alarmed when you go to it and it switches over to this. This is the correct site. Okay.
Yes, you're not being redirected to a malicious website.
Exactly. And so again, we have that. And the National Cyber Watch Center provides a wealth of cybersecurity curriculum materials, faculty development opportunities, and even student competitions. So that is a great resource as well. And then one of my favorites is SANS Cyber Aces. They offer free foundational cybersecurity courses and information for as an introductory that can be useful for again your not just your classroom, but for like for maybe you have people that are joining your cyber clubs that maybe don't have cybersecurity background. This would be a great entry to do for learning and for teaching and doing activities. And then you also have Microsoft Learn, which has free self-paced modules on cybersecurity, cloud computing, and other Microsoft technologies. And I believe we're going to talk about this a little later about Clark, so I will save that then for later. But if anybody have any other resources for this, please feel free to put it in the chat as well.
Yes, we're all here to learn from you as well. So now there's the big question, because we in the university, higher ed, college space, we just have endless amounts of money, right? Well, no. I mean, if you do, that's awesome. We don't. So we have to find out different ways that we can support our students, looking with within some other resources. So just touching on some grants here, we have as a CAE school, we all have the opportunity to try and get some Gen Cyber funding grants. And Gen Cyber is a program that is about teaching teachers and students, high school and middle school teachers and K-12 particularly, about cyber and how to teach it in the classroom. At UCCS, we've done some teacher grants, some student grants, and even a combo grant this last summer where we brought students into the classroom with teachers, which was a really interesting experience because then teachers basically got to try out some of their new cyber skills with students while they were there, and students were able to give some feedback on what they would actually like to see in the classroom as well. National Science Foundation has some grants with cyber focus. Pikes Peak was the recipient of a RAMPS grant. It was a regional economic adjustment grant that basically had us tie in higher ed, 2-year school, 4-year school with UCCS, pathways to K-12, and pathways to industry. So it was an amazing experience that Gretchen worked on at Pikes Peak that really helped solidify our cyber ecosystem. Office of Economic Adjustment has done some grant opportunities, Google Cyber Clinics, and cyber clinics in general. So what is a cyber clinic? Well, we have the opportunity to bring in students and kind of teach them some basic risk management assessment type of skills. And then they can actually, nice RAMPS grant. Yes, thank you. Sorry. have the opportunity to apply those skills working with small businesses in the community, and doing some sort of risk assessment work and applying for mitigation. Small Business Administration, we've had some partnerships with them as well to include some funding. Some CAE has had quite a few grants. We, for instance, did a faculty development grant with the CAE community where we paid professors and instructors to develop some curriculum that other students and professors could take into their classrooms. Foundations will have some private grants, states, a lot of times if you can partner with that K-12 pathway, you've got some bigger opportunities that allows you to form that pathway. Gula.tech, they just have it's a kind of a page that has some cyber funding opportunities on that private side. And then we just have that link there for nsf.gov. And again, we definitely want to allow for you to put in any sort of information that you might have into the chat as well. We all need more money, right? Students need money too. So Litany will bring us up to speed on how they can get money.
They definitely do. So there are different organizations out there, government funded. And so I want to start with I'm gonna circle back to the National Community College one. I pulled that site up. But you have SFS, which is Scholarship for Service, in cybersecurity. They offer full tuition and living expenses. And what's unique about this is they offer this in exchange for a commitment to work in in a governmental cybersecurity role after graduation. So let's say they paid for 1 year or 2 years, 1 year of your education, then you will have to work for 1 year for the government, or they pay for 2 years. And so this is so it's twofold. So for your you can do it for your master's, but they also have if you're like your final year, if I'm not mistaken, if you're a senior, you can correct me if I'm wrong, senior and or junior, and then going into your master's as well. So that's a great opportunity. And then there's something called Viceroy and then CSA, and these are targeted scholarship programs that provide funding for cybersecurity education and career development. And then the Cal Jones Faculty Externship. This is a unique program designed to immerse faculty in real-world cybersecurity environments, which will help enhance your teaching and also your research. I'm going to circle back to the National Community College Cybersecurity Fellowship. I am going to, can you click on the link or do I need to share my screen? I can share my screen.
Yeah.
1 second. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Okay, so I had the opportunity to participate in this 2 years ago. I think it's been 2 years now. It's the National Community College Cybersecurity Fellowship Program through Insight, and for students with bachelor's or master's degree students or exploring opportunities in career education, more specifically catering to those that may want to teach on the community college level. And so I found this out. I got an email in my student email. At first, I was going to ignore it. And I'm like, well, let me look at it. And I applied and I got in. I learned so many great about different tools that I didn't know about, like Packet Tracer and other things like that, that I can integrate into whatever I teach. But I had a chance to work with a community college. Um, and teach a class on IPv4 and IPv6 and on the community college level. And I've always thought, well, I've been in academia, I've been usually on the 4-year institution. I never really thought about the 2-year, and that really made me feel like I would want to teach on the community college level. And I actually do now. I'm an adjunct at Hinds Community College, which is an amazing community college here in Mississippi. And so, because of this Insight Community College Fellowship Program that actually sparked my interest in that. So this is a wonderful opportunity for those that may want to apply. Again, the link for this information will be in the PowerPoint. And I'm not really sure when they're opening up for their next cohort, but they do have a schedule. Uh, and so they do both online and in person. The in person usually at Moraine Valley Community College. And then also I want to just go back here because it ties in a little bit. So they also have cybersecurity across discipline, the CI conference. And because I was a part of the fellowship, I was able to go back and attend this conference. And that is where I met Gresham, who had the idea of starting this new and early career faculty initiative through CAE. And so, like I said, it's all about networking and taking advantage of opportunities. So hopefully we gave you some information that will help you, and especially students with funding and also faculty with funding as well.
Exactly. And Aaron said, don't forget about the Department of Defense SMART Scholarship. So Aaron, I was wondering, did you want to speak to that?
Yes, I can speak to that. I had gotten information about it because the Department of Defense had a seminar here at Hinds Community College, and it's a very good scholarship opportunity for students at any level, whether it be at the master's level, at the community college level, or at a bachelor degree level. The application's a little intense with how much it asks you, but it's a very good opportunity because you're getting $30,000 a year while you're still in school, and they pay for everything like housing, food, all of that. So if you haven't applied for, or any of your students haven't applied, please let them know about it because I think it's a really good opportunity.
Awesome. And do you have to get faculty recommendation letters for that scholarship?
You do have to get at least 2 recommendations. So that's why I mentioned it. For anybody here that doesn't know about it, you have students, they might ask about it. And it's not that intense of a recommendation, but yes, you do have to get 2 of them. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, thank you for that. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yep.
Okay. So, and then there's lots of other options as far as grants and academic engagement enterprises, and also looking at like cyber and space, AI, look at things at the different national labs, and even looking to see if maybe your local government or even your state offers either grant opportunities, scholarship opportunities, or even internships. A lot of people don't think about that. We all look at like things that maybe the federal government, but also look at your local government and or your state government to see if they offer any internships or grants or scholarships for students and even faculty for research and things of that nature.
Awesome. All right, so we have a list of some of the resources that we have been talking about. CISA being one of those really great resources. SANS has a lot of like templates and things if you want to share those with your students, like if you've got, like I teach a lot of business classes, and so we do some, we have to draft up a policy, and so we go to SANS and look at some of those policies and use those. Clark is an amazing resource. Paige, I don't know if you want to take a minute and talk about Clark. I put you on the spot here.
All good. Yeah, if you don't know about Clark, it is a cybersecurity curriculum repository. It's been going for about 7 years now. And we have just a little under 1,800 different pieces of cyber curriculum. Some of them are geared towards like clubs and extracurriculars, but a lot of them are available for, general class usage. And it's everything from like your intro to cyber all the way up to very specialized topics. I know we have like IoT security. We have some things in advanced networks. We also have some AI stuff that's coming out as well. And Clark also supports a number of initiatives within the CAE, including the Cybersecurity Education Task Force, which is looking to develop curriculum in a lot of high need areas that we need to teach. So if you're interested in getting connected with any of that, feel free to reach out to me. Or I see Litany dropped the Clark homepage. Feel free to sign up. It's completely free. No gimmicks. You can use as much or as little as you want.
Yeah, I love Clark because you can have just like a tiny little, like, what nano module or you call it, or
Yep. Under an hour.
Yeah. So you can just like have this little bite of information, or there's like whole courses in there. So amazing resource. Hack the Box. Litany, did you want to talk about them?
Yes, so there's two things on there. So Hack the Box, as you know, is great for learning hands-on skills and things of that nature, and it's free. However, for Hack the Box, you actually, in order to sign up, you have to hack the box first in order to get in to get the code. However, they have something called Hack the Box Academy, which is also free that you can sign up for, and they have different modules. And they start you off with like different tokens. I forget the exact name of it, and you can start like doing like different classes and going through what they have, and so that you can get to the point where you are confident enough to be able to hack the box on the actual website. So that's a great resource. And then another resource which I personally love is Try Hack Me. It's free and it has different modules for different paths. So let's say you want to show them how to be on like a red team, or want to show them how to do web exploits and things like that. They have curriculum and paths for that, or just regular introductions. You can utilize this in your classroom or in your, what we did for women's cybersecurity. We used some of that a few years for our actual club and doing work together to learn different cybersecurity skill sets. I personally integrated into my classroom at Voorhees University for our advanced cybersecurity course because that's online, so it's very friendly. Those are the things I know I talked about earlier about the different write-ups at ctf.org about previous competitions and how they got to that answer. And then you can follow along and look at the different tools that they have.
And I really like Wireshark too as a networking person. It allows you to really see what's happening in your network, and it's a totally free tool. And they have a lot of tutorials, and you can learn more about it there. They also have Wireshark Week, modeled after Shark Week, where they kind of go over like the new releases and all of those things. And then there's a lot of tools are bundled into a Linux distribution called Kali. And so we use some of those virtual machines running Kali to do things like password cracking and cookie hijacking and all of those things. And Litany just posted, oh yeah, CyberChef. Do you want to talk about that?
Yes. Oh, can you hear me? Okay, I'm still unmuted. Hi. So, Cyber Chef is tool where you can, let's say you have a question that's dealing with cracking a certain cipher or something to that nature. You can enter in that cipher, the input. Let me share my screen actually, so you can see what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. All right. Okay. So I put it in the chat. So this, when you come to the website, it'll take you here. And so it is where, let's say you have um a Caesar cipher, right? And you want to figure out what the answer is or what is the decryption of it. You want to decrypt it. So you can go here and search for Caesar. So they have different ones. So let's say Caesar box cipher and say, well, what is the box height? Or there's something else that I like. So you can start saving for favorites and you can do something called magic. So let's say you're not really sure, but you have an idea of what it might be, then you can enter the input here and then do the magic and it will see if it can decrypt it. But if you're trying to go to base 64 or go to hex, then maybe you will get rid of that and do to hex. And then you just say, well, what's the delimiter, the space, and then the bytes per line. And then it will decrypt it, or you'll see this answer here. And you can either hit bake, or you can have it where you have it auto bake, where as soon as you type it in and you move it, whatever you're trying to convert, over here, it automatically start to bake it. But this is a really great tool to use, especially in competitions and CTS when you're trying to figure out answers. This is great. And then also, I believe Terry talked about virtual machines and like Kali Linux and things of that have pre-installed tools that you can use.
Awesome. Some other resources that we have too. Oh, our Space ISAC, which is really focused on cybersecurity in the space domain. Our National Cybersecurity Center, we're co-located with those. Our UCCS Cyber Programs Office and some of the cyber classes are all part of the same building with National Cyber Center and Space ISAC. Litany has an amazing how-to document.
And I will email that to you so that to you and Paige so that it can be added to whenever to the website.
Yeah, can you tell us what you do in that
Okay,
document?
so in my home lab, I'll walk you through how to download a virtual machine. Um, well, first roll back how to download like use VirtualBox first, download VirtualBox, and then how to download Kali Linux, and also I want to say a Metasploit virtual machine, and then there is also Windows virtual machine as well, and walk you through how to do that and how to connect it so that when you're trying to basically creating a sandbox and things, and so when you want to do or test out different cybersecurity topics that you learned in class or what you're teaching, you could do it in a safe environment. So I do walk you through each step and then also give examples within what you can do.
Awesome. Great. And then we've got a link to the Insight Center, which Litany spoke about earlier. Try Cyber, like Paige mentioned a little bit earlier. And then the NICE challenges. Those are really great hands-on type of labs to do with your students. You can pick actually like I need one. For instance, there's a a piece of malware has been installed on a Windows server, and you can walk through the steps of like literally being in a team meeting, a virtual team meeting where the instant message is like, hey, you've got to find this, something's weird is happening. And then the students are led into uncovering the malware and removing the malware on the server and getting everything back up and running.
Okay, so we gave a lot of information, a lot of information. It can be very overwhelming. So we gave you our top about five things that you can focus on and then expand out later. First is hands-on, using sites like Try Hack Me and Try Cyber 15 minutes at a time, right? And then next is student involvement. So look at student clubs, whether you become a sponsor or just a contributor, where maybe they ask you to come speak, right? Yourself. And then also community involvement. Join a local industry organization or a national organization. And then look at different conferences and grants. This is a great place to collab for research, and grants are a good starting point. Because especially for those that are wanted to go on tenure track, right? It's good for your portfolio. And then look at things like grants, collaboration, your research, what research papers you publish, right? So those are some things. And also find a mentor at your institution or in your community or organization, right? Mentorship is very important, not just for faculty, but also for students, right? Find a mentor that can help you and that you can bounce ideas off of and things of that nature. They are really important. I know for me, I have several mentors that has helped me in my cybersecurity journey and my teaching journey. So I still feel like a new faculty at times, but because it's always a learning experience. We're always learning. We're always evolving. So these are just our top five things. But we again will provide this PowerPoint to everyone so you can go back through it as well as links as well.
Yeah, just take a dive in. And I will say I've been teaching since 1998, so it's a very long time. And I still feel like a new or early career faculty member because this is a technology or an industry that is highly evolving, right? It is evolving, it is changing constantly, and you're always going to be learning. And so just pick something, make it your niche, and you're good to go. So with that, we welcome any questions you might have. Yes. My undergrad is in psychology many years ago. Like I always tell my students about the fact that if you told me I would be working in cybersecurity, which wasn't even a word back when I was in college, in the late 90s or sorry, late 80s, early 90s, I would have been very surprised because I walked into college in 1989 with my word processing Smith Corona typewriter and did not even know how to use a computer except to play Oregon Trail with a Mac. What was that? Apple IIc. So, yes. Thanks, Greg.
May I ask you a psychology question? May I ask you a psychology question?
Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
so I've seen some really intelligent students and members of my club. They are they're afraid to participate in some of our extracurricular activities because they feel that they're going to fail. And one of them, this is a very intelligent guy I'd met. He said directly about I asked him if he wanted to join a competition of ours. He said he would be dead weight. But this
Oh,
guy he has a Linux laptop in front of him using Vim every day. I'm telling him, you're smart, you're gonna do well, but he doesn't have that sort of growth mindset. So I wanted to ask you, because psychology, how do you reach out to these new members or people that don't feel they have these competencies to further build these competencies, change into a growth mindset? Do you have any perspective on
Yeah, that is all that is near and dear to my heart, like I will say. Um, because it's the people who don't feel comfortable, we want to embrace them and get them as excited about cyber as we are. And so I would just say, ask him if he wants to just come in and observe. Like, don't put any pressure on in participating, right? And so then when he comes in and observes, he might see, for example, like, oh, I actually know more than I think I do. And then could just start contributing in small ways and then take on more and more responsibility. I love that.
And I want to piggyback on that. I'm going to talk at the student perspective, take off my instructor hat real quick. And as a student, a few years ago, I had an opportunity to participate in a CTF. At first, I wasn't going to do it because I felt like, oh, I don't, I'm not qualified or I don't know as much to make it further. I ended up actually winning the intermediate level but at first I didn't think I knew or I wasn't as prepared as others or I didn't know how to use certain tools, so maybe I wouldn't be able to actually succeed in that area. But my friend would like just sign up, do what you can, no pressure. If you advance, that's great. If you don't, it's just a learning experience, just to get more experience. So they took it as that for me was it's a way to just get experience and learn something maybe you didn't know. And so then you can go and investigate how to use that tool a little bit more because my downfall is Wireshark. But it allowed me to learn more about Wireshark and how to actually utilize it. And so look at it as an experience and learning experience more so than a competition. If you approach it that way, that may help as well.
And like National Cyber League, for instance, also has a gymnasium, if you're familiar with that, where you can go in and practice on your own, and then you don't have to be part of a team. You can just do what you want on your own and learn until you feel more comfortable. A lot of my students like to start with NCL and then they gradually feel more comfortable when they hear other students having the same issues or stumbling blocks that they ran into.
And then something that we mentioned earlier with Pico CTF, and they have a gymnasium that is similar to NCL and other competitions that they can just go into now for free and just practice things and see how it's maybe set up. And maybe that will help them get more comfortable for participating in an actual CTF or competition.
try to build up some of those small victories over time and build that confidence? I was thinking about doing that with the new Try Hack Me. They got that new learning path. I was thinking
Mhm.
about starting some of them on that so they can build up that confidence slowly to participate in more and more.
Awesome.
Yes, if you need help with that, just let me know. I love Try Hack Me.
Thank you.
That Great. Well, thank you all so much. This was an amazing workshop. I think we all learned a lot from each other, so that is very, very cool.
And thank you all for putting this together. And thank you to the students that came out to talk as well. And thank you to, I know Dan and Jake are gone now, but they did an awesome job talking about competitions as well. But round of applause for a very, very well put together workshop.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to stop the recording.